Y'all don't need to see me right now. Welcome, welcome. Let me get my appropriate picture up here. Okay, it ain't the best. I kind of hack. Um, oh God. Oops. Just close. Exit. Thank you. Uh, I haven't figured out how to get all this done, and frankly, that's okay. I rarely make these videos, but I hope you like what I have added in here. The nose and clown makeup. Yes, he. There is vacancy in that brain of his. He's usually drunk. This is DSP. He's a 42-year-old man. He is garbage. He is a liar. He is a bozo. He just makes a whole bunch of noise. He's phony. Who is he? And he's dumb on purpose. And this little mic, yes, it's a garbage respecter because that's all that comes out of his mouth. Uh, he got on stream around, what, about 30? Age 30? He used to go around in video game circles with the genre being fighting games, like your Street Fighter, your Mortal Kombat. But I think at that time, Street Fighter was his thing, and he played a very, shall we say, glitchy and poorly made version of the game of Street Fighter. I think it was like Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo. And he played fourth in this tournament called Evo, which invites people from all over the world to qualify. That they have many tournaments, and then as you qualify through your locals, your state, your regionals, and then nationals, and then internationals, where he was in that area. Um, they filmed him there. His behavior was atrocious, and he talked so much nasty toxicity that some of the other competitors that were there wanted to like pull him over and just beat him senseless. But he hid in a bathroom, and some of the more level-headed other contestants basically said, "Nah, just leave him alone. He ain't worth jail," kind of stuff. And throughout the years, uh, his behavior has been very toxic. He often belittles his fans. Um, he has had no job. Uh, he literally just lives off of what people give him. You know, chats and donations. If you don't do it right, he'll ban you. If you say something in his chat that he doesn't like, he'll ban you. He'll call you stupid. He'll call you an idiot. I think his latest fashion was, he was saying that this video game character, it was in a story-based kind of game, typically known as an RPG, something like that. And the storyline was that this character that he was playing was going through a lot of difficulty with his life because there was a lot of online garbage being said about him. And he really took it to heart because he really believed that they made that game just for him. They just like literally just pulled it out of his butt. Well, no, they didn't pull it out of his butt, but they thought about him and made that video game character story just right after him, all about him. And he went on saying that on the air to his audience. It was all virtual. And some people were like, yo, DSP, Phil, it's just a game. And no, they did not have you specifically in mind when they made this game. It's just it just, a happenstance. And most of the things that you are saying about your life, unlike the character in the game, you actually earned it. You actually earned scorn. You actually earned these people saying things about you because you spend a lot of your time saying horrible things to people. You're always slashing other people who are more successful than you. When you play games on stream, you play them very horribly. When you play against fighting games, it's you versus another person. It's usually online, and he'll make up excuses. Oh, the response times are very low, or the game is laggy, which is not true. The game has the ability to measure the response times, from each of the players over the internet. And we're talking like mere milliseconds of a difference. So, like, DSP will press a button which causes his character to punch. So, less than a tenth of a millisecond, it'll do that, which is pretty good. And maybe maybe another person, maybe like stationed in Japan at the time, it might take zero point 0.2 milliseconds, and it won't make that much of a difference because there's no way humanly possible we can move that. So it's not that really huge of a deal. It's just, it can't really be helped because over the net it doesn't travel at the speed of light necessarily, but it gets there. It gets the job done. Connections over the internet have been played consistently in I call them professional tournaments. But yeah, I mean, people sometimes they all get together from all over the world. They all chip in some money for the what's called the pot. Usually the entry fee, and the person putting on the tournament will take a cut of that. And then, depending on how many players are in the tournament, it'll split like the first gets the most, the second player gets the second most, and so on. And DSP had placed fourth in that tournament that he placed in, which was over like 10 years ago. And it was over a very, weirdly written game that no one else really understood, and that he placed the highest in the country, with the caveat that 3 Japanese players had beaten him. And so that's, yeah, congrats, DSP. That was over 10 years ago. Have you done anything else since then? He's won a few fights against some well-known people in the fighting game community. Maybe you know them, Justin Wong. He's a well-known fighter, and he studies and analyzes a lot of tactics of how other players play. And he himself, if you pause to read that, you're going to be disappointed. I just would not do that. Yeah, I don't always think that someone's going to respond to something in text. I'll have to figure out how to mute Facebook Messenger. Anyways, like, I barely use this. I know it's not a good excuse, but what else was I saying when it got derailed? Yeah, his behavior was terrible, and he annoyed a lot of people to the point to where this fighting game community, which covers all of the fighting games out there, um, from 1990s all the way up to today. And they put on some good tournaments if you're interested. But it's a fighting game community, and his behavior towards those individuals was so atrocious and so phony. And listen to him play on the, when he's playing against others online, it's being broadcast as this is, and you hear him, oh, it's laggy, or this, I didn't block, or it didn't do that. And my favorite, he didn't earn that victory. Mother effer, The victory is that when your character gets hit, your health bar continually goes down until you are knocked out. Okay? So when your opponent hits you more than you hit him, your health bar goes out first before his does. So your character is knocked out and the other person is standing, and the round goes to the other person. That's about as simple as I can explain it. And time again, the same tactics are used against you. You complain that it's pattern play, meaning that the same tactics are used over and over. Well, you've encountered them several times over and over. So maybe you, as a champion, fighting game expert, should learn by now. No? Oh, why is that? Oh, it's because you get really drunk before the stream and you play like a drunken fool. And he even mentioned that when he was playing a game. I think it was like a version of Street Fighter or another, what's it called, like a free-for-all game where there's like 4 characters and there's 4 people controlling those characters, and the object is to hit your opponent enough to where their resistance to being hit is weakened, and that when you hit them, they'll like be knocked further by each hit that you do, until eventually you hit them so far that they fly off the platform that you're on all the way off to the screen, or they hit a lethal object on the screen and that knocks out that character. And I think it's a timed round, or the first round of 3 knockouts or 3 ring outs. So like the first person who gets 3 ring outs loses, I think. So the person who has the least amount of ring outs at the end of the match, like the last one standing, I believe, or the last team standing. And, they hop on these moving platforms. It's kind of cartoonish, and it's characters from all over a certain universe. And I think it was Smash Universe or something like that. They had like the Scooby and the Shaggy and Velma characters, Batman characters. So, he was really excited about that, and he played against this guy called Maximillian Dude. Maximillian Dude is a guy in his 30s. I'll say about mid-30s, judging by the way he looks. And, oh wow, big old trailer being pulled. And he runs a channel, a YouTube channel that is professionally made. He has professionally animated intros. He plays games okay. That's kind of how he makes his bread, and it's a production for him. I mean, it's high quality, and he plays well enough, and he gets along well enough, and he plays these games well enough that it gets attention of the developers or professionals. Other professionals like himself in fighting game tournaments. He places well. He gives commentary on the recent fighting games or upcoming games that have a 1-to-1 opponent concept to them. Anything that involves like something conflict where you are fighting against someone else or against the environment or against AI controlled opponents. He plays those to the extent that he gets the attention. He's well respected in the community. He's an informed opinion, and he gets paid for it. People give him money because he produces a quality project. He's professional. If someone calls him up and says, I want your opinion on this, I'm willing to give you X amount of dollars for it. Would you be willing to do it? And yes, they pay him to review their products, mostly video games and the like. I don't think he does shoes or clothing or anything like that. But he plays them well enough, gets to know them well enough, and then he gives his opinion on them, whether it's good or bad or whatnot. And he's often in a few tournaments, nothing big. He's not in the big, huge Evos or any number of other tournaments, but he plays in them kind of like a casual player or guest star. I don't know if he's ranked or won any tournaments, but I hear when he does, he places up there. He makes his presence known. I think he places in the top 10, I think in at least regionals or state. I don't know if he ever has gone national, though. I don't know. I don't know that much about his career. I don't watch Maximillian Dude's channel that much. But I do know he has a good reputation. It's well earned. As opposed to this clown who wants to said something like, I want to play you again, Maximillian Dude. Maybe we can run into each other. And no. Maximillian Dude knows who you are, DSP. He knows that you are a drunk. That anytime you do a stream, you are usually out of your mind, very critical. You like to just ban people for not even talking about the things you like. I think they had a stream one time. DSP was on a stream playing a game, and some people really were just talking about their favorite form of steaks or how they were done. And DSP didn't like that. He said, you're supposed to be talking to me and about the game, not about steaks. Go to a food channel. But I'm like, these people are giving you money. And maybe you could just chime in and say, hey, I don't really like rare steaks, but I like medium rare steaks. And I like Angus kinds of steaks. I don't know the varieties of steaks. But if someone was talking about that on my chat and they paid money to see me, or were planning on giving me money, I would say, hey, y'all give me a minute and let me look up some steak types. Maybe I could weigh in while I'm playing this game, or let me just take a pause and go check this out so I can chime in a few informed opinions. No, he wasn't having it. He was actually banning people off his channel because they were wanting to talk about steaks because the play he was doing was boring or not that engaging. I think he was playing a fighting game and it was just so butt. So ass! Yeah, that's the line he said. When they talked, when the chat told him about that this game is not directly about your life, that's a little narcissist on your part. He was like, it is too. I can say a fact. And if you don't like it, then give me your mailing address so I can mail you a spoon so you can eat S out my ass. AHHSS. Exclamation, exclamation. Yes, he said that to his audience. Eat it. Yes, he said that to his audience that gave him money. He wants them to give him money, but at the same time, he'll tell them to eat crap out of his butt with a spoon. Let that sink in. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. And he will never live that down. Like, you cannot put steak emojis in this guy's chat, and you can't put spoon emojis in his chat. You can't put poo emojis in his chat because he'll ban you. Because he screwed that up big time. And this community, the detractors who mock him because he is such a vicious, cruel, abusive individual, a scammer. Like, you give this guy money, you know it's going to go to his mobile game gambling addiction. Hogan's on WCW. He just, they keep track of it, of his spending on this game. They suspect he is a certain name on that. I think like Over the Rafters. And some of the other detractors, they'll sign up for an account there, and they'll look over the leaderboards and they'll see him, flying over the rafters, whatever, like in the top 10 or top 5. And that's usually from spending a lot of money. And they're guessing, their estimates is that he spends thousands of dollars a week on that, sometimes daily. And that's usually more money than he gets in the donations that he receives. And people are wondering, where does he get this extra money? I don't know. But I thought about wanting to give this man money, but if it's going to go to a gambling addiction, I'd rather give it to somebody that wants to have their gambling addictions handled. He's also a well-known alcoholic. Someone leaked his account information, or hacked into his account information. Unethical as heck. I'm not suggesting they do it. No detractors suggesting that they do it. But they found out from his account that he goes to a lot of like wine and spirits, and he spends 60-70 bucks a week, and it's probably on gin. And the funky thing is, he knows he's not supposed to be drinking like that. He knows it's bad for him, but he does anyway. But he doesn't have an addiction. He's never drunk on stream. Yes, he is. And he's never drunk when he plays. Yes, he is. So, I guess I'm going to phrase this for Maximilian Dude. So I'm going to pretend that I'm Maximilian Dude responding to DSP's desire to play me again. I don't know Maximilian Dude's voice well enough to imitate it, so I'm just going to kind of speak with a little affectation. So here it is, Maximilian Dude responding to DSP. DSP, my man, you cannot stay sober enough to log on. You are a drunken has-been. You bitch, whine, and complain because you can't play this game, and it's everyone else's fault but yours. You expected me to waste my time with you. Never. Not with a drunken has-been like you. Click off. There you go. That is Maximilian Dude's response. I spoke for Maximilian Dude. And if Maximilian Dude wants to use my audio, certainly. I didn't get his permission to speak for him. I just thought that's what Maximilian Dude would tell him. All right. I think I could talk a lot more, but I'm not. So I hope this rant was acceptable and that you enjoyed it. And now I'm going to click off. Thank you for listening and bothering. And I have no idea when I'll do this again, but I had fun making fun of this bozo here. So thank you for watching and listening.